If your artwork is good, but your portfolio still looks messy, this video is for you. Because a lot of college art students lose marks or opportunities, not because of their artwork, but because their layout lets them down. I'll show you how to make your portfolio look clean, consistent, and professional without spending hours nudging things around. Let me guess, you've got solid artwork, but when you put it into a portfolio, things don't quite line up. Images are slightly off, margins aren't consistent, one page looks fine, the rest looks rushed. And suddenly your portfolio looks weaker than it actually is. The good news is this is not a talent problem, it's a layout problem, and it's really easy to fix. So let's jump in. Right, so first off, we need to start looking at how our images are displayed on the screen and how we want to present them. So really, we want to create a sense that we really care about our work and we're presenting it in the best light and that it's quality, that we're trying to get across to whoever's looking at it, that we really care and we feel like this is really good quality work. So that means making sure that everything's consistent, that the layout doesn't work against us, and that we're almost presenting it like it's in an art gallery or something like that. So first off, I personally would recommend going with a white background for all of your portfolio, whether that's a physical portfolio or a PowerPoint like this. We need to use that white space. Imagine walking into an art gallery to look at a painting or even a sculpture. You're going to find that it tends to be against a white background. There's a big, white space around it so that your eyes just focus solely on the actual piece of work. So let's start off with setting up our guides and our spaces. So at the moment, we've got this image here and it's right to the edge of the slide. Now, I would not recommend doing that. And what we can do is we can pull the sides in and kind of move it around to get it into position, but it's not a very consistent way of working. So first of all, let's set up some guides for ourselves. So if we go to view and we go to guides, make sure the guides turned on here. And you can see here the guide there. So if we take that guide and we come over to the left, we're going to give it a bit of space like that. The important thing is we're consistent. If we right click, go to grids and guides, we're going to add another vertical guide. So it adds one just there, and we can pull that over to the other side, get that in about the right size space. Now you can see here it's got 15.80. We move this one, we want it to be the same, 15.80. So we know that these two are the same. Then we're going to take the horizontal, bring the horizontal up to about the same sort of width. There. Now the bottom can be higher. You can have more space at the bottom if you want. But what we're going to do is we're going to right click, grids and guides, and we're going to put in a horizontal. And we're going to pull that down to the bottom. Now the bottom could be slightly bigger as a margin than the top and the sides, but I would try and keep the top and the sides about the same. Now what I'm looking at there looks like the top's a bit big, so I'm just going to drop the top up there. Right. So now we've got our grid lines. We can move our big picture across and up like that, and then we can pull the corner in a little bit until it reaches the guide at the side like that. You can then decide whether you want to center that in the middle. Don't change the height here, you can help it, but that'll be like as high as it can possibly go, and this will be as low as any images will possibly go. But what we do then is select the image, and then we go to home, and we go to arrange, and then we go to align, and now we want to align it to the middle of the page like that. So now we've got the image with some nice white space around it, and it looks like it's almost been framed. And it can be bigger at the bottom if we want it to, but what we want to do is try and keep a consistent space each side and at the top. It's just going to make it look more professional. And if I present that now, you can see we've got a nice clear image laid out. So when we go in for a full one, that's where we go. So now we've got the first guides in, we can start moving on to more complex. So straight away, we've got this image here falls below our bottom line. So we need to sort that out. And also we need to look at the layout that we're choosing. So I always say that you want to keep the weight of your images at the bottom of the page and the lighter at the top. So it's almost like a triangle where you have all of the weight at the bottom and it gets lighter at the top, and it just creates a sense of stability. We've also got this problem here where they don't line up, and these images aren't all lined up at the bottom and the top. This is slightly different. So first of all, let's move some of these around. So move that out of the way, move these up, and then we can mess around with cropping and things. So let's move this now to the bottom, like that. And we want it to sit in between. So if we go to select the image, then we go to arrange, align, and we want it to be in the center, like that. Then what we can do is take this one and take it to the top. So we know that the top is that this line, nothing's going to go past that line. Move these up. Now this image here is about the same size. We might have to crop it because we've got a bit of big spaces. But what you notice here is this space here and this space here don't match, and it doesn't line up with the image down here. So we can eyeball it a little bit and move it to the side. And if we drag and move and go really slowly, you get these red markers that tell you that you're lined up, like that. Try that one, and that's lined up there. So now you've got this one and this one in line. What we do is we select the first one, we press our shift key, and while that first image is selected, press shift and we select the second one and the third. And now we can go to arrange, align, and this time we're going to distribute it, which means it's going to put even spaces in between. So if we distribute horizontally, bang, like that. Now you've got the same spacing within it. But the problem we've got here is this image here is bigger than this one here. And what happens is your eye, we zoom in, your eye, without even noticing it, your eye goes across and then drops down and then goes back up again. And it creates sort of like a break in the flow of looking at the image. So there's a few things we can do. We can either resize this image so it lines up like that, but it gives us a bigger space. Now it's not so bad because we've got quite big spaces on the sides, but let's see what else we can do. So if I undo that, you can also double click on the image and then you can choose the crop tool. And now what we can do is just crop in the bottom like that. And now we've got the image contained in the same shape. If we wanted it to be landscape, we could double click it and click crop, use the crop tool and pull the top down where we've got quite similar stuff. Now you've got a landscape image that we could then try. That's it. Resize. So now we've got 3 images. Select them all. You go to arrange, align, distribute horizontal, and now now they are equally distributed. If we open up that image, you can see now that all of the slides line up, all of the images line up together, and they're equally distributed. Brilliant.